Hi guys, welcome back to the part 2 of the series of the Python introduction for total beginners, and today we're gonna talk about how you can run this code on your local machines and do magic and solve insane problems for whatever reason you're solving problems. And secondly, we're gonna talk about variables and what are their uses and how we can implement them in Python. So stick along and we'll do just fine. Now, before starting and writing our first Python code, I want you to make sure that you have installed Python and VS Code on your machines. After you've done that, everything is pretty much set up. One more thing that you have to do is install an extension called Python here. If you just search here on the left side, it's an extension bar, and you search Python here. This extension will come up, and you just need to install this and enable this, and it'll ask to install other stuff. You just install it. There are Python packages that are required for this extension to work, and after that it's basically done. Things will work pretty easy after that, and even if you don't install it, you don't need to worry about it. It is just in case, because for total beginners this is a very simple thing. Like, it's easy. In my view, it's easy for total beginners to work with this extension. But let's follow along and get on. Now, first thing I will do is come up here in this window, whatever folder you have opened, or just first thing that you got to do is open a file and create a new file, and it'll ask you to do it. Like, you can create a new file right here, click in here, and if this thing is not showing up, just open a folder by clicking here. I'm not going to do it because, well, I can do it, but I'm not going to do it because I've already done it. You can open a folder, you can open a file, but I suggest you open a folder because we're going to create a file right here. So you create a new file. Let's call it whatever, like introduction, and introduction.py. Now this is important that you call it .py, so the VS Code picks it up and runs code, and after you've done it, just click enter or click anywhere else, and this file is created. Now you can see that on the right side this click icon has appeared, and you can click this and the code will run. There is nothing on the written in the script, so nothing will run. So that's how you run your code. Now, first thing that we are going to write is just a print statement. Now this here is your console, and console is just used to communicate with the language, communicate with the computer, like what is the computer saying. That is what a console is used for, in very simple terms, to console, to log things and to print things. Now, first thing that everyone does is, let's say I want to print something on this little console right here. I can just type in print. In double quotations, I can type run forest run, and I can save it by pressing Control S, and I can just press this button right here and it'll run forest run. I'm going to talk about other ways how you can run Python code. You can run this on command prompt too. Now, first thing you got to do is know where your stuff is stored, where your Python file is stored, and it is stored right here in the Explorer. You can see where you have stored your file. You can open that up. You can copy its path right here in the top corner. After you've copied it, open command prompt. Now, how you can do that? You can type here, right here, cmd.exe. It will open up command prompt. Another way to do that is type in run and cmd.exe. It's very simple. Now, first thing you gotta do is switch to the disk. Now, disk is right here. It's E. It's in the beginning. It tells you what the disk is, which disk you're using. So first thing you gotta do is switch to that disk. For me, it is E. Then you gotta change directory. To change directory, you gotta type in cd and the path. And path is right here. Press right click or Control V. Right click is better. And, well, it doesn't matter. Then you have the folder where your Python file is stored, and you can check all the contents that are present in the folder by typing dir or ls, and you can see that there is introduction.py, and you can run this if you type python introduction.py. Now, it runs for me because my path was automatically set by Python when it was installed, but for some people there can be a problem here. They might have a problem running this code, and it might say like this is not it's not recognized as an internal or external command, or program or batch file. So to solve that problem, you gotta go again in the start menu, and you gotta search environment variable. And environmental variables, you gotta change the path variable. And in the path variable, find that place where your Python is installed, right? So for me, I've already done that, and here I have the path variable. You can also do this in the system, and in the path I have stored it right here. This is where my Python is installed, and where python.exe is found. And just when you do that, restart the command prompt, and this will work just fine by doing this. Make sure that you type the file name totally, and this will work just fine. Now, one more thing that I want to show is how to run the files here without this play button right here. You can do that totally, and this is how to get this console back. You can go here, view, and you can type in terminal. Now this will do the same thing. The things that we did in command prompt to run this code, we can do the same thing again here by typing python introduction.py. One more problem that you can face is if Python doesn't work, then py might work, and it's the same thing. But yeah, so this is basically all the problems. Basically, I don't think there are many other problems that you can get. They're very rare problems. And so yeah, let's talk about variables and get into our workflow. Now let's talk about how variables actually work, how we can use variables. Now variables are just like a store. They store different things. For example, I can store a number in a variable, I can store a group of words in a variable, I can store an alphabet in a variable, I can store anything in a variable. Well, not everything, but I can store data in my variables. Now how do they work? Well, let's type in Python here, and let's type in a little statement, x equals 1. Now this equal sign is an assignment operator, and it assigns everything that is on the right side here to the left side. So now x is like a store, it's like a bucket, and it has stored 1 in it. There is 1 inside x. You can just think of it like that. It's not like actually it happens like that, but x, whenever called upon, whenever you say x, come here, x will show you its value, that oh, I have 1 in my store, in my bucket. And if I say x is equal to 1, and if I type in x, you can see that x has 1 value. Similarly, we can store sentences, right? I have something to show, right? And I can type in x, and it'll say I have something to show. And there are other things that you can store. You can store a simple alphabet, and it'll show you that. And that's how variables work. Actually, basically, that is almost everything that there is to it. Now I want to make a simple program that actually lets you display your name on the screen. So to do that, what do I need, right? I need to input from the user and print back. Now to input, we use a function called input, which is in Python. Just Python comes with this function. You just type in input, and this will command prompt, like write your name. And I'm gonna print this out. I'm gonna comment this, and again, I'm gonna talk about comments soon after this, like how do you comment, what is the purpose of commenting. And input your stuff, and what this function does is that it returns whatever a person or a user has input, and you can store it in a variable, right? I can say, well, name is equal to input, and I can run this right here, and it will run. Right, write your name, and I can write my name. My name is Ralphie, so my name is Ralphie. Well, and after I've written my name, but it didn't display, right? It didn't display it on the screen. So we are gonna display that by writing print. And well, I can do this right here again. I can click here, write my name, which is Ralphie, and it'll display Ralphie. Or you can do other tricks with this. You can type plus is your name, welcome. And if I run this will do the same thing. What is your name? Welcome, Ralphie. Now, I was talking about commands, and what I would like to talk about commands is that they're just very useful because we write program for another person. And so when you're writing a program, you got to make sure that if there's something that other person doesn't understand, that they understand. So you can just write that, well, this program inputs your name. Now, the thing about commands is that they don't run. They're just like ghosts, you know. They just don't run when a program is run. You know, when I write code in it, like print 1 to 3, it doesn't print. It will only print, well, whatever I give it to print. So there is that. Now, another thing is that you might be thinking, well, why is there double quotation here, and why is this 1 to 3 without a double quotation? We will talk about this in the next video or in the upcoming videos, but these are data structures, like how your data is oriented, right? Data can be in numbers, data can be in floating pointages, which are your decimal pointages, like 1.4, 1.2. Data can be in strings like this. And so this is what we're going to talk about in the next videos. Please try to practice it and just do this on your own. It's very simple. I totally want you to do this, because this is the whole this is the whole thing that we're trying to do here. I want you to do this on your own, and I will try to make this code available online, and you can see that over there, but there's literally nothing to see. But just copy paste it if you can't. In the future series, if you just think that you cannot understand anything, just copy paste and run it for yourself and understand it. But everything is totally explained, and you can just fiddle around, play with it, like, okay, well, what happens if I do this, what happens if I do this, what happens if I run into other problems. And you can run in problems with this by doing some other things, but we'll get into that in the next video. And till then, take care and stay safe, and keep doing Python the holy coder way.